Hey YouTubers, it's Charlie. So Arrow Season 4 is back, confirmed some of the things that we thought about what was going on between the flashbacks, present day, and we found out how they changed the show. They've been teasing that they were going to do things very, very differently this season in terms of structure. So here we go. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start by explaining the way they changed the show, like they fundamentally changed the way the show works. So careful for spoilers from the episode. Starting off with the flashbacks, what Mark Guggenheim said is different about Season 4 is that what they used to do is they would have characters from the flashbacks that would transition to present day. They're not going to do that. The flashbacks are going to be their own thing. They're just going to thematically inform what's going on in present day. Let the darkness in. That's what it's all about. It seems like some of the characters in present day have already done that as per that ending twist. But the other part structurally is that now it's much more fully integrated with the Flash, like they talked about the high-speed rail. They're metaphorically and literally connecting those two cities and those characters. So we have Grant Gustin at the end of the episode with a flash forward to 6 months from episode 1. It's a total gut punch ending, but what it's doing is it's showing you the potential outcome based on what ends up happening this season. So the real drama is finding out whether or not they can change that, or if that outcome is a fixed point in time, just to use Doctor Who terms. But let's get into top 10 WTF moments. We'll dig through it and we'll talk about all the crazy Easter eggs, including the Hal Jordan stuff. Oh, and just a quick reminder, I am doing the reverse flash ring giveaway this week. I'm giving away 2 rings. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber and leave a comment on the video. Starting with number 10, Oliver and Felicity are living in Ivy Town. Now, if you don't know where this is where Ivy University is. It's the home of the Ray Palmer atom in the comics. There's also a bunch of other Firestorm stuff that happens here. It's just one of the many notable DC Comics cities, like Metropolis or Gotham City. On to number 9. Speaking of ownership, Felicity is now rolling in cash as CEO of Palmer Tech, although it seems kind of tenuous at best right now because there's a board that's trying to challenge her control. Yes, all of the characters think that Ray Palmer is dead, but obviously we know all about the Atom, we've read the comics, he really just shrunk down at the end of season 3. I have no idea how the show is going to surface him, but at some point he has to go on Legends of Tomorrow, so he has to figure out a way to regrow himself, so expect at least one episode before the mid-season finale on Arrow to address Ray Palmer, to to get him back to normal size. But part of the fun of Oliver and Felicity's lives now is just like the really awkward domesticity that they have going on. And for those that are wondering, the tattoo that Oliver had removed is actually the dragon that looked just like Shadow's tattoo from back on the island. He's kind of like wiping Shadow from his life. I don't need it anymore. He got it to remember Shadow. It's just a way for the show to say that he has gotten rid of some of his demons. He still does have that Russian Bratva tattoo that denotes his rank as captain. He's a really high-ranking officer in the Russian mafia, so we might see a little bit of that this year. Speaking of which, number 8, Oliver is in Coast City in the flashbacks, at least when they pick up, trying to be the Hood. Now, if you remember the progression from douchebag college boy Oliver to Green Arrow, obviously the end of this episode, he started out as Oliver, turned into the Hood first, that was his first persona, then he became the Arrow, and obviously now he's the Green Arrow. So he is the Hood in these flashbacks as of right now. And we finally get Amanda Waller back. Hopefully we'll see her more this season, but he's on the island, so I have no idea. Yes, you definitely did see a Jordan jacket. Now, that could be Hal Jordan. I think that's what they want you to think. They wouldn't have put that in there if they didn't want you to think that. But they can't really do Green Lantern on Arrow, so I'm not expecting to see a whole lot of Green Lantern stuff. But anytime they're in Coast City, they will put references to Green Lantern things in there. On to number 7, this 5 months away Team Arrow is kind of like Team Diggle, and Diggle has his new costume. The one that Thea's wearing was the same one from the end of the last season. It's just like a modified version of Roy's costume, who is still trying to sell the idea of Red Arrow. I love it so much that Thea's kind of like this Damian Wayne type character now, just completely going apeshit, completely ignoring the reality of the situation. Just like, I don't give a crap about morality, but she still really hates the idea that they're calling her Speedy. The best answer I have for that was the end of last season where she kind of said it hopefully to Oliver and he's just shut her down. He's like, I'm pretty sure I already told everybody to call you Speedy. So if you think she's going to be turning into Red Arrow, no, she is the Mia Dearden Speedy. Her name is Thea Dearden Queen. But what's going on here is that they're hijacking Cord Industries weapons. They're just, Damien Dark and Hive are just arming up. I feel like Ted Cord is being put forward as the Steve Jobs of the DC universe because he makes a really awesome phone. If you guys saw, there was some viral marketing for Batman v Superman. It was like this Lex Luthor thing where he made this speech, and we found out that he's Lex Luthor Jr., but he also referenced Ted Cord in that. So Ted Cord is a very big figure in the movies and on the TV show, but I'm not expecting to see him on the TV show anytime soon. We'll just be seeing a lot of people steal from him. On to number 6, meet your Hive and Damien Dark. So let's start with the big guy, Damien Dark, big Teen Titans villain from the comics, but he really only appeared in like an 8-issue miniseries, so he's really not that big of a character in the comics. Arrow is kind of taking some liberties. He doesn't get too involved with mysticism, but in the episode, Damien says, I want things to be ready for when my associates get here. Obviously, Hive, big villain organization, is going to have other big villains that are a part of it. That could also include Vandal Savage. Vandal Savage, of course, not going to show up on Arrow till episode 8, so that could be the timeline for when he's trying to make the city ready. Just put a bookmark in that. We really don't have enough information to start positing what's going on with Vandal Savage's involvement in all this. But for the most part, just think of Hive as like an elite version of the League of Assassins with more high-tech gear. On to number 5, shocking twist number 1. Quentin Lance has been working with Hive this whole time. We don't know if it's been 5 months, we don't know how long. We just know that his relationship with Damien Dark predates episode 1. So presumably at some point, Black Canary will probably find out what her father's been up to and why he did it. It seems like what happened is Damien Dark rolled into town and just said, look, there's no way you can fight me, so you can either work for me or I can kill you. But you let the darkness in, the darkness changes you. If you rewind to season 3, you remember that was actually a line of dialogue that was uttered during the Black Canary story arc. It was all about Laurel letting the darkness in. And now Quentin is the one that's letting the darkness in. I mean, obviously, the metaphor crosses all the characters in different ways. Like, Damien Dark literally lets the darkness in with those, those weird tattoos and runes on his arms. The other characters, like Thea, Diggle, letting the darkness in metaphorically, like emotionally. When I saw this twist, I got so excited. This is like the best possible thing for Paul Blackthorne. He's an amazing drama actor. He does great genre stuff, but his Quentin Lance storyline in season 3 just didn't do it for me. Like, he didn't have a very exciting storyline. Season 4 in general is all about the nature of family and what you do for family. Is your family the people you're born to, or is it the family you choose for yourself? But on to number 4. Oliver and Diggle kind of heal the family of Team Arrow, so now they're Team Green Arrow, although it's much more egalitarian, and if you remember, they were kind of running the city by committee at the beginning of the episode. That's kind of how Team Arrow is going to function this year too. It used to be Oliver building a team around him, now it's kind of more of a shared responsibility kind of thing, so Diggle and Oliver will be sharing a lot of the leadership responsibility. But as much as Diggle was really upset about him, he gets that call to action from Lila where it's like, get over it, I've forgiven Oliver, you should too, don't be a bitch. So as of that call to action that Oliver had at the end of the episode where he hijacks the emergency broadcast line, I don't think Diggle's completely forgiven him, but they're not going to have like a lot of internal drama. Like that was kind of meant to cut that off, like saying like, this isn't going to be a thing every single episode, we're not going to be fighting all the time. So of all the family problems that are going to be happening this season, most of them are going to be between blood family members. So like Thea and Oliver are going to be having some problems because she's gone super dark. Quentin and Laurel are going to be having a lot of problems because he has gone super dark. On to number 3, Oliver gets dumped back on the island. We don't know a ton about the season 4 flashbacks, only that the big villain in the flashbacks will be Baron Blitzkrieg. I'm assuming that a lot of it, at least the first half of the season, will take place on the island, but I don't know if he's going to be bouncing back and forth between Coast City and the island. Sometimes the only way out is through. So Oliver kind of working through his darkness by going into the mouth of hell, which is kind of twisting the metaphor because Lian Yu actually means purgatory. On to number 2, Felicity unveils Cisco's latest creation, the Green Arrow costume, which probably has all kinds of tech that we'll learn about. It's just one more way that they're tying both shows together. Like I said, they have the high-speed rail, we had Barry Allen at the end of the episode, all kinds of stuff tying these shows together. The costume itself looks pretty awesome. I mean, they unveiled it at Comic-Con, so we've had a couple months to think about it. The gauntlets look a little bit weird, but I'm really just excited to see like what's underneath the hood, like what the suit can do. We do know right now that it does not offer him any protection from Damien Dark's abilities. And actually, this Damien Dark scene that he has, this fight scene, is just to let you know that Arrow as a show has activated final boss form, but Damien Dark himself is not completely unkillable. He's not completely invincible. That's why Diggle is able to trank him just a little bit. Every time Oliver tries to fight him, he's probably going to get his ass handed to him. Like, they need to learn more about the nature of Damien Dark's abilities before they can fight them. It looks like he has some sort of connection with this totem. I'm wondering if either he's going to turn into an actual demon, like a literal personification of darkness, or if Team Arrow is going to like smash the eye. Like, they have to do something to neutralize his abilities at a certain point, but that seems like it's so far off, like, probably season finale. But if the season is all about what happens when you let the darkness in, then presumably darkness will just overtake Damien Dark in a really bad way. I know everybody would love to see the demon Etrigan. I don't think we'd ever see him on Arrow though, but now that Constantine is no longer a show, at least they have a chance. But finally, onto my number one WTF moment, of course, it looks like a member of Team Arrow has died 6 months into the future. And just plotting this timeline, that would put it at the end of the season, so it looks like they're flashing forward to like episode 23. I've heard it said that the writers are still deciding who is going to go in that grave. Like it could change depending on which way the story goes this season.
Okay. I don't know who was in the casket, grave, tombstone, etc. Literally, I don't.
They don't write like every single episode before they start shooting episode 1. Like they only have up to, I think, like the mid-season finale right now. They probably have an idea for who they want in that grave, but that could change in the back half of the season. Right now, I think it could either be Diggle, it could be Quentin, or it could be Felicity. I think it's a little misleading to assume that it's Felicity just because that scene came right after that moment with Oliver, but think about what Oliver said when he was talking to Barry. There would have been a time that I would have thought this would have been my fault bringing this darkness to the city, and that's taken from a scene that he had with Quentin. So I think it's more likely that Quentin is in the grave and he is just like really upset about what happened to Quentin, like the dark path that he was set on. This is the big debate that we're going to have this week. Let me know in the comments, who is in that grave? Like, why do you think that it is that person? The reason that I don't think that it's Thea is because they killed her last season. It would be like them recycling that plot all over again. You're like, why don't we just dump her in the Lazarus pit? And if it were Felicity, then Oliver would probably be inconsolable. Like he would probably just be like a melty pile of flesh. And in this scene, it just looks like he has great regret. It doesn't look like someone that he was getting ready to get married to just died. But at this point, remember, the writers have not decided who's in the grave. So whoever you come up with, you're not wrong. Like there is no wrong answer at this point. I am going to do a Q&A for this, so leave all your questions in the comments on this and on my Flash episode 1 video. That's going to post after my Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. video. I still need to catch up on that because that was an awesome episode this week too. Be sure to subscribe to get everything. There's a couple other trailers for like Jessica Jones. There's a Sherlock trailer. I'll try to do that on Friday. So I'm going to get through Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Arrow Flash stuff tomorrow. Here's the other big question that I want you guys to answer for me too. Of the two premieres, Arrow and The Flash, who do you think had the better episode 1? Even though they're both amazing, personally, I think that Arrow had the better episode. Like just the way it was constructed, the narrative, the way they changed the show. So even if you're just talking about who had the most improved episode, like from season to season, I think Arrow did the better job, even though both Arrow and Flash were amazing this week. I am so excited about this season of Arrow and Flash. So like I said, it's actually going to be like one big story stretched out over 3 shows when you throw Legends of Tomorrow in there too. So yes, you do need to watch Arrow and Flash each week to keep up. In case you guys haven't seen it, you can click here for my Flash episode 1 video from last night, and you can click here for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I'll add the annotation as soon as I post the video. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Big green arrow high five. I'll see you guys tomorrow.